Lucia.
want the Grom. We want the Grom. We want the Grom. Oh, we're confident again, huh?
Stop it.
Is that what happens when you win a couple of games in a row? What's going on? Tiki and Tierney, 10:02 on the Fan. What is good, Tiki? I got to tell you, obviously, not overreacting to a win, though it was a quality win.
Yes.
When you beat Max Scherzer. I don't care what the score is. You beat Max Scherzer. It's a big win. And as I said last week, any game you don't win, you're out. Any game you don't win with Scherzer or DeGrom, especially with the Braves playing so well, there's a bit of a lost opportunity. Braves won again, by the way. Mets lead down to 3. But I got to tell you, as much as I have whatever word you want to use, chastised or whined or ripped or destroyed or whatever the Yankees for the last 5 or 6 weeks, the last 2 days, now maybe this is an overreaction. You check me if you think I need to be checked. But if you check me too hard, I'm going to check you right back. The last 2 days, Teague, I have seen an avenue for the Yankees to grow into a championship team, which I have not seen until the last 2 days.
Well, this is a big shift from a couple of days ago. So what happened in the last 2 days?
I'll tell you what's happened. Andrew Benintendi has remembered how to hit, which changes the entire dynamic for the lineup. If Benintendi, and I don't mean home runs, that's a bit of an anomaly, even though he banged a few back in Boston back in the day. And David Cohn said something very interesting last night. And it was very, very, hopefully prophetic, and at least in the short term, seems to be. Benintendi, who played at a very hitter-neutral friendly park in Kansas City, was in the process of trying to change his swing to match the dimensions of Yankee Stadium. And it takes a while. And for a professional hitter, a contact guy, he seemingly has found it. Now, I'll let you take the baton from here. And I'm not saying that this is a championship team, but at least now, I'm certainly not saying that after 2 wins, but at least you start to see the makings of a lineup, if Benintendi is Benintendi, where the Yankees could do some damage.
Well, for the last month
and beat good teams and good pitchers.
No, you're right.
That's what I mean.
Obviously, Scherzer is a great pitcher, and he just couldn't place his fastball. Scherzer last night, they talked about it. I was listening to it more than I was watching it, and Susan and John were talking about how he couldn't place that four-seamer exactly where he wanted it to. He was throwing it, had good velocity on it, but it was sitting right over the plate, and guys like Judge took him yard. Benintendi, even though I think that was a breaking pitch that Benintendi ripped down
the one
right
that he went down
line.
to go and get?
Yeah, exactly.
Off one knee, by the way.
So here's what we've been talking about the last month. Who is that compliment to Aaron Judge? It should be Giancarlo Stanton. It could be DJ LeMahieu, but Stanton's battling injuries. DJ's battling a toe, even though he's out there grinding, doing his thing. We've been searching/waiting for someone to be that compliment for Aaron Judge. They bring up Andujar, they try Florial, they try all these different things, and it's just not working. And over the last 7 games or so, Andrew Benintendi has had multiple hit games. So
3 of them in the last 7.
Yep, 3 2-hit games and only 2 where he went hitless. And most importantly, he's been clutch when they've needed him to get on base. We were at the game last Tuesday. He hit the triple to right center, and he's flying around the bases. It was a game. I think it was the Toronto game. It was a shallow, just a leaker into left field. He's coming around second. I mean, anybody else on the team gets caught. He's touching home plate before the ball even, gets to the catcher. And so he's got that spark. And I believe that you're right. He can change the narrative around this a little bit, but it's just not enough. It's not going to be enough. The Yankees.
What if Stanton's back healthy? Which, by the way, he's going to play in Oakland coming up. What if Stanton's Stanton?
It's a big if.
Well, but I agree.
It's a big
What
if.
if Stanton's Stanton?
But right now, to me, it's not enough because they got, I don't want to say lucky, but Domingo Germán should not have held the Mets to 4 hits.
Why not?
Because it's not who he is. It's not who we've repeatedly
He's
seen.
He's actually done okay lately.
He's
done okay lately.
Look,
he has. Better than Montas. Montas, true. You better pitch well tonight.
By the way,
otherwise he's going to get ripped.
By the way, you come into this Subway Series. You say, "Man, I'm going to get Scherzer. I'm going to get DeGrom."
Yes.
And the second, if you're a Met fan, Scherzer's bad, ish
for him.
Bad-ish for him.
Yep.
And now you're getting Taijuan Walker versus Frankie Montas.
No.
What a matchup for.
By the way, how about that play? You don't see it till I know the Mets executed this earlier in the year, and that's obviously Buck being highly attentive to all the details. But You don't see that very often first of all, you don't see it very often at the major league level where there's an appeal play. And then obviously trying to restart the clock. And with Rizzo, that was it. It took a while to figure out what was going on there.
Yeah, you're right.
Because nobody really knew right away. Although I was watching Yes at the time. I will say this. I was watching Yes at the time, and I tend to go back and forth. As I said last Subway Series, when the Yankees and the Mets play, I like to bounce around, get both, because I really do like both broadcasts. But Darling nailed it immediately. He nailed it immediately. And the Yankees, and this isn't a shot at the Yankees broadcast team at all, but the Yankees were a little slower to actually present that to the audience.
Yes.
Like, I figured it was something like that, but I didn't know for sure. I mean, you don't really see that explained too often.
No, you don't, because it's nuanced. It's a part of the game you don't see too often. But anyways, my bigger point is I feel you. I really like Andrew Benintendi.
Okay.
We got to re-sign him for next year, obviously, because he's a quality outfielder as well. You never feel like something's going to go awry in left field with him out there. He's always been a above 300 hitter, and he's clutch. So you got to re-sign him. But he's not enough. When I look at this Yankees team, they got a little bit lucky that the Mets didn't put any runs on the board last night. The Mets are consistently grinding, as we talked about yesterday, consistently finding ways to work their ways back into game. It wasn't there for them last night other than Vogelbach's home run. They really didn't have a meaningful hit in the game other than Vogelbach. So I'm not saying the Yankees got lucky, and I am acknowledging that Andrew Benintendi is a very good compliment for Aaron Judge, but it's just not enough for me to start saying, all right, this Yankees team can win a World Series
okay.
now.
Again, I'm not saying that it changes the dynamic. It raises the ceiling for me. But it this way, really until the last 2 days, even though I figured at some point Benintendi would hit, I mean, I thought this Yankee team had really no upside, no championship upside. I still wouldn't necessarily bet on it.
Yeah.
I don't know what Montas is bringing to the table tonight. I don't know where Garrett Cole goes from here. I don't know if Stanton is a little blip, if he plays and then he gets hurt again. There's a lot of things we don't know yet. The back of the bullpen, although maybe last night is what we actually tend to see, and David Cohn mentioned that as well.
Yep.
So there's still things that are unresolved, but at least on the surface, and I don't know if Aaron Boone is up yet, but if Boone's up and he's listening to the show, Aaron, Skip, here's the lineup moving forward. Benintendi 1. I don't want to bet. DJ can't bat 4th. That's obviously because Stanton's not there. Benintendi 1, LeMahieu 2, Judge 3, Stanton 4, Rizzo 5. Stop messing around. There's your first 5 hitters. Do it. Now, I know there's going to be some. Is Donaldson hot? Are you going to run Cabrera out there more? If Torres is playing, you put him somewhere in the 6th spot. By the way, the fact that Torres didn't play last night, interesting.
Yeah.
Tough.
Yeah.
Tough love, but that's fine. I'm fine with that.
It is what
I'm
it
fine
is.
with it.
I agree.
Cabrera's got energy.
He does. He's got a ton of energy. He did have the one error that allowed that inning that Vogelbach hit a home run on because it was in his glove. I think they gave him the error. When him and Marwin Gonzalez collided with one another. But
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, but you know what?
Marwin Gonzalez might be the most useless baseball player. We thought Joey Gallo was useless.
No, that's not true.
No, hold on. No. Think about this. Before you say it's not true, let me hit you with one stat.
Go ahead.
The last hit, or last fact, really, fact stat, the last hit that Marwin Gonzalez got was off a position player. I swear to God, against the Pirates.
Hey, he moved the runner over yesterday. It didn't
Tiki.
matter. And I was listening to John Sterling.
Yeah, what did Sterling say?
Sterling goes, he's going to bunt, and he doesn't square up the bunt. He just stands there and takes a pitch, right, whatever it is, or maybe even swung at it. No, it was a ball. So he was like, he's going to bunt. And then John very astutely says, sometimes managers will give the impression that they're going to swing, and then on the second pitch, they bunt.
Yeah, sure.
So that the defense backs up, and they're not charging and ready for it to cut off the play at third. So he had to move IKF over to third base. So on the second pitch, he bunted. So he's not useless.
No, he's fairly useless.
He
really
laid
is.
down a really good
He's
bunt.
fairly useless.
Got IKF to third, and ultimately Benintendi was the one who ripped down the first right field line and got a run in. So he's not totally useless.
Oh, no, he's pretty close, man. Did you hear what I said? The last hit he got was off somebody who's not a pitcher.
Yes.
And that was in July.
Yes, he is 202.
877-337-6666. Tiki and Tierney here on the Fan. So we get it again tonight. Hey, listen, I didn't say this in a brazen way. I love watching, great players, amazing pitchers. I wanted to see DeGrom tonight. I get it. I get what the Mets are doing. It's about them and not about satisfying our fandom and our viewing pleasure in terms of the aesthetics of the matchup. But now the Yankees need to pound Taijuan Walker, whose, throwing regimen's probably been truncated. He's got to be a little out of whack with the back issue. Now you got to go out, and I don't know that they will, but if you want to get even more confidence, because a couple of wins in a row, the confidence will begin to simmer, but that flame doesn't pop until you just annihilate somebody. And if the Yankees can hang up something crooked early and often, and I don't just mean home runs.
Yes.
But if that would be very, very reassuring. But also, to be fair to the Mets, they're coming off a grueling run. Going down to Atlanta for the 4. Obviously, the doubleheader over the weekend with the Phillies, not having DeGrom and Scherzer on the back end, the rain delay, the incredible comeback win with Connor with the 2 bombs on Sunday. This is not to minimize where the Mets are. This is just me saying, all right, at least on the surface, like fundamentally, I could look at the lineup, again, DJ in the 2 spot when everything's back with Stanton, and I could say Benintendi, DJ, and Judge. Do those 3 guys to start give the Yankees a chance to beat the best pitchers in baseball? And the answer is a little more yes than it was no.
I mean, yes, but it also reminds me, and then we'll get your calls here. It also reminds me of what we had early in this season with DJ up top. Aaron Judge was up there. Rizzo was hitting well, had a bunch of home runs early, and obviously Judge and Stanton. But then as soon as you got to like 6, 7, 8, it's like, man, there's holes here. Gallo, Hicks, IKF.
Gonzalez.
This is like a wasteland down here, and I fear that still exists.
How about you put Gleyber Torres in the 8 spot? I mean, if he's not going to play against the Mets in a big spot, you know what? Drop him down the lineup. Who cares about his ego?
Maybe.
You see some fastballs down there.
But Aaron Boone's got to do it.
He's got to do it.
Or at least Cashman's got to give him the sign-off to do it.
Well, yeah, more like the instruction. Yes, I hear you. All right, so let's get to you. Let's get Danny and Trumbull, who has a little issue with Tiki out of the chute, which is just good by me.
What's up, Danny?
What's up, Danny?
Hey, BG Tiki, how you guys doing?
We're good, bro.
What's up, Dan?
You know, I like calling in about the Jets usually only, but I got to call in with Tiki. Tiki, have you announced that you're a Mets fan?
Come on now.
Come on.
Come on.
The past couple weeks,
I am not.
He has a bad game. Aaron Judge. Why can't Aaron Judge just hit a good pitcher? Oh, Benintendi's not enough. Stanton on top of his game is not enough. Tiki, come on, man.
I am not a Met hater. I have a lot of friends, including my boy Hoyman, who's always talking to me about Mets. So I got Mets on my brain, but I am a Yankee fan. I relished the victory last night, but I understand that the Mets, they had an off day. It is just what it is. They've been grinding, as BT just said.
Or maybe just a better team beat them last night, Tiki. How about that?
Well, I got to tell you, you do have to give Herman a ton of credit.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
That was a tough spot that he was kind of thrown in. That is, Subway Series game doesn't really mean that much other than momentum for the Yankees to try to get back on, a winning ways. They haven't had back-to-back wins in, since
in the month of August, I believe, is what they said.
They haven't. I think it was Kansas City.
Yes,
last
it's
back-to-back
absolutely
wins
Kansas City, 100%.
was Kansas City. So they needed something. And hey, Herman, guess what? You're going up against Max Scherzer at home to try to get us back-to-back wins. He was in a tough spot. He went 6 1/3. He grinded. If it wasn't for Canna, that last at bat with not Canna, McCann. The
13
last at bat
pitches.
with McCann with 13 pitches.
And it looked like every foul ball was the same exact one, like a 9-hopper down to third base line.
It was crazy. And Sterling and Susan were talking about this as well.
Now, why did you where were you that you listened to the...
I was home.
And you listened to the game?
I always listen to the game
Why
at
don't you
home.
watch the game when you're home? What are you doing?
I don't know.
It's the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
I get something more out of it by listening to it.
What's wrong with you? Watch the game.
Well, I was walking the dog, and so I was listening to it while I was walking the dog. It's actually one of my neighbors driving down the road. He's like, "You're supposed to be watching the Mets and the Yankees." I'm like, "Dude, I'm listening to it. Calm down." It's like the middle of the first inning. It's like, chill out.
Did they talk about their bobbleheads?
No, they did not talk about the bobbleheads. But my point is, until that McCann at bat, Herman was having a fantastic outing.
Yes.
A
very
fantastic
economical,
outing.
too.
Economical. Yep. But McCann just kept stepping out of the box every time. One pitch, out of the box. He slowed him down, and it got to him a little bit. But up until that point, he had It was more than I expected
Me
against
too.
Max Scherzer.
No, me too, for sure.
For
But this is why David Cohn is great. And did you? Well, you were listening to John and Stu, so you didn't hear this. I'll tell you. He made reference at one point where the Yankees, and listen, say what you will about analytics, and I know that they're annoying and it's after, but they are applicable in a lot of situations. And this is one of them. The Yankees noticed that his four seam, the RPMs on his four seam, were, I don't want to say significantly above league average, but certainly above league average, right around 2,600 per whatever.
You call me the geek.
Well, I mean, I think this is interesting
Okay,
because maybe this portends good things for Herman moving forward.
The closet geek in you.
Well, a little bit. So I'm telling you. So he averages he has averaged about 2,600 RPMs on his four-seamer. The league average, I think Coney said around 2,300. So what the Yankees did, they're like, hey, look, bless you, Teak. They're like, let's start throwing this more.
Yeah.
Because that is a high number of rotation for a four-seamer. And he started to do that. So he's changed the way he attacks hitters, and it's actually, and not just last night. Like, they've incorporated this in his throwing regimen than the previous few games. Herman's got a little something on the resume where he's not a complete scrub.
That's right.
I mean, I think we know that, so how about Manny in New Jersey? What's happening, Manny? How are you today?
Hey, guys. How you doing? Big fan, guys. Thank you for having me. First-time caller.
Appreciate you, Manny. Thank you for dialing in.
Absolute pleasure, buddy. Thanks, Manny.
Thank you, man. I'm a diehard Yankee fan, and I will say this. Benintendi is going to come around because there's a lot of Yankee fans complaining how Benintendi was not coming around, this and that. It was a terrible trade. He's a guy that his bat will wake up, and he's going to get us the base hits. He's not going to be a home run guy.
No.
He's going to be the guy we're going to need in that leadoff spot for Judge to come in, and then you have LeMahieu batting third, I would say.
Second.
And then maybe Rizzo fourth.
Flip those two. Put Stanton 4, put Rizzo 5.
Yeah, I could see that too, Rizzo too. And then, you know what? Aaron Hicks, don't even get him in the lineup. They should have traded him for an unsalted bag of chips.
What?
So you know what?
Nothing more benign than that, by the way. An
Unsalted bag of chips.
Ugh.
Oh, man.
They should have just got rid of that guy years ago. And I got to give Hicks credit. He used to get on base and everything, but now he's just
Yeah. I mean, look, Aaron Boone addressed
I got to
it.
give him credit after I destroy him.
Yeah,
Sure.
exactly.
Thank you, Manny.
You got some
Thanks for the call, bud.
sour cream and onion dip. Maybe it'll
Nice.
work with some
That'll work a little
unsalted bag
bit.
of chips. But
Yeah.
other than that, that's pointless.
How about the salt and vinegar?
Those are the
That's
best.
good.
Those
That's
are
good.
the
A little
best.
roast beef and mutts.
But
That's a good combo. on
Aaron
a
Boone
Sunday.
addressed it with Hicks.
A little root beer?
Yeah.
Orange soda,
I haven't
a
had
little black
root beer
cherry.
in forever. Or orange soda.
Little Jets and
Forever.
Giants. Little red zone.
That works.
Little fantasy. Little betting.
What the hell he's talking about?
On my Sundays.
Oh, your Sundays.
The chips.
I got it. No wonder you got to work out on Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Oh, I'll tell
like
you what,
a maniac.
dude, I'm going broke. Just our Sunday tradition, and it's only the four of us.
Yeah.
I'll get 4 sandwiches, roast beef, mutts combo, whatever, ham and mutts for the kids. Jen likes ham and mutts as well. A couple of rice balls, a couple of bags of chips. It's $80.
Dude.
$80.
That's for one meal.
80.
And it's obviously going to be leftovers. But
Not on my plate. There's nothing left over. I'm actually digging into the kids at that point.
by the way, you know why I listen to John and Susan all the time?
Why? Because it's the free Odyssey app?
It's the free Odyssey app.
You're such a nerd. You really are. This guy.
You know me well enough to know where I'm going from.
Oh, ooh, what a setup. That was so amazing. Ooh, did they teach you that in Broadcasting 101, Tiki?
No, Spike just kind of implored us to talk about the free
That's
Odyssey
true.
app.
Hey, Spike, do we have, now we haven't been here long enough to make anything that remotely resembles a demand. So this is more of a question.
Mm-hmm.
Where are our bobbleheads?
Oh.
Where are our bobbleheads? I heard that Spike has a whole
He has a hookup
box in his office
of
bobbleheads of John and Susan.
Oh, but we don't have any.
Well, I'm saying, where is ours? I want one.
Do Gio and Boomer have one?
I don't know.
Do
I know.
Craig
I know
and
that.
Evan one?
Yes, because I heard Craig talking about it with Evan because they were at the Hard Rock yesterday. So when I was driving home, I heard some of their show. And Evan, obviously being a devout Met guy, in his credit, in his defense, he also really appreciates the Yankee history. Much like me with the Mets, there's just not outside of 69 and 86, there's not a whole lot to celebrate there.
Stop being a hater, dude.
No, I'm not. And the only thing that's weird about the bobbleheads, and I had not heard it, but I guess Craig said this, Susan's line or John's line, that the T-shirt,
Yes.
that's baseball Susan.
Yes.
I guess they had Susan say it, which makes no sense. That would be like, not that they're going to make bobbleheads. Well, lucky if they keep us around here, actually. Forget about making us bobbleheads. But if they ever made bobbleheads of you and I, it would be like them having you say something that I say. It makes no sense.
Like
whatever I say.
It doesn't change until it changes.
Oh, yeah, that. Yeah, whatever we're known for,
Yes.
which at this point is nothing. I don't know. I was a little weird, though, but I would like to get one. You think we'll get one here?
No.
I think we will.
And it will be a generic black dude, too. I looked at a bobblehead.
No, I mean, will we get, not of us. I know we're not
I know
getting
of me.
one.
I had somebody sent me a bobblehead, the first bobblehead I ever got of Shell.
What year?
It looks like 2000, 2001. It looks like a generic black dude. Looks nothing like me. The only thing that indicates it's me is my name is on it. And it has my jersey on.
Blue, white jersey, not the red one. What do you have at that point? Red wasn't around at that point.
Blue jersey.
Okay.
But it's just a generic black dude.
Hey, I mean, you are black, so,
I know.
I mean,
But
were you
am
bald?
I generic? Yes, he was at least bald.
Did it have big white pearly teeth?
I don't remember, actually.
Because if it did, then it's not really that generic. Then it's kind of you.
I think my mouth was closed.
877-337-6666.